worldly help, that's good because we need that. But real friendship is that who can help us to reach God. Because we are grateful to our friends when because they help us in our physical needs or crisis. No, doctors is our friend who is in difficulty, get their help. Suppose some friend who is financially difficulty, somebody can help. No, they are friends. But who is the best friend? Who can remove my all afflictions, the path of all round and round, coming back again and again and again. And one can help us to have that wisdom, to give that knowledge, bring us to God. Some friend who can say, go to the shrine, let us go. Come and meditate. Hey, what are you doing? What is this? Let us think about something high. So that is the greatest friend. So that's why that is appreciated. Who is the greatest friend? Full friend. Yeah, so you didn't knock it?
I knocked, but he didn't open.
Okay. Come. But you can go after 5 minutes.
Okay. I can do that.
Yeah, at least half an hour.
Be a stalker, it's okay.
Half an hour is also good. Yeah.
That's a good point because it says, "Let it be for the devotees of the Lord." So it's saying, "Keep holy company."
Yeah.
And then you're keeping holy company, and then you're experiencing all that joy. Well, naturally, you won't be thinking about all these other distractions that might pull your mind in your direction.
Exactly. And also, worries and anxieties of life will remain unless we can hold the feet of the Lord. 132 page, bottom. So unless we hold on to something permanent, eternal, stable, our life's problems and sufferings, no one can take away. It is calm, it is a repetitive thing. Some days are good, some days will be bad, some suffering, some pain, some day good health, some day bad health, some day, someday your mind is cheerful, someday it is troubled by others. So who can, and this is going on, not in this life, life after life, life after life. This cycle of birth and death going on and on. So he is the friend who can help us to go in the vicinity of the divine or in the holy. And then second line, he alone deserves to be called a friend and well-wisher. Actually, real friend is that friend who takes us to God, who helps him out of the path, hmm? That path of cycle of birth and death and suffering and pain and misery and all these things. Anyone who does the contrary, there may be many friends who take us from the path of God. Hmm? There are many obstacles. One obstacle is this. In the Bhakti Yoga, in the Bhakti Sutras, it says, Dushanga sarvataiva tajya. The bad association, you must have to shun boldly. Because opime tarangaita opime, that association creates a mental wave of attraction to the world, and it is good. Sometimes it is necessary. But if you go into it, there is no freedom, there is no mukti. So this world and worldliness, you are to shun those people who are worldly, not the devotees who live in the world. They also live in the world, but they live God-centered life. Those who have focus only world and materialism and only the sensate experience and obsession for them, try to avoid that, because that will create in your mind a ripple, a sensation. First to us to be attracted to the world and then further go deeper and deeper, then what will happen? You will sink in that abyss of this endless cycle.
Maharaj, I'm getting confused about something. I believe it's Mahasi Charvaka who said eat, drink, be merry, and all that stuff. But then he's a bad company too.
Of course, that's a Charvak darshan is a darshan. Darshan means it is a clear vision. Vision is go, enjoy, see what it brings you. You know what it brings. Those who are going for drinking, eating, sleeping, and day and night, look at their life. When they are sick, when they are little bit troubled, what happens to them? What is the support? They crack down. A young man of 20 years may look like he's 70 years old. And those who are even 70 years old, and because they think of something noble, see they are fearless, and they also go to the turmoil. This is the beginning stage. Yeah, you go to test them, go. But that is the path. That is the path. If anyone pulls you in that and you get into it, your bad association is taking you. And there are others also who take you the opposite way.
Bhoga Marga.
Bhoga Marga, Tyaga Marga. Marga means the path. Bhoga means the enjoyment. And Tyaga means the renunciation. Renunciation, as I said, tyaga of what? Of the small amount of joy. Give a small amount of joy, get big joy. You want to have it bigger, have it $1 billion, have it $1 trillion. What the petty $5, $6, $10, $30, $40? Why should we be happy with that? So that is the path who leads us to God is infinite. God is infinite love, God is infinite joy, God is infinite bliss. If you can get that, and if someone helps you, is he not a friend? Good friend. Our gurus, our teachers, when they gives us the path of spirituality, it is rigorous, sometimes it is harsh, it is little rude. They don't allow us to sleep, they don't want us to work with the spirit, and this get all this ego to get out, and this and that. It's all a struggle for a soul. But is it not taking us step by step to the infinity, path of infinity? So that's why we are. And anyone who does the contrary does not deserve to be called his teacher. If he be a teacher, he cannot be called to be a relative. He is a relative. Or he cannot be called to be a father if he be his father. His mother, she is not a real mother. That means who helps you, she is your real mother, real father, real friend, real relative, real teacher. There are many teachers, as you are talking about Charvak Darshan. They are teachers. They believe that school of philosophy. I give the example credit card theory. Credit card theory is very good. You have a credit card and you have a line up to say 30,000, 40,000, 100,000 line. So you go on and spend, very joyful. Eat, sleep, drink, oh, ha, ha. And when the time comes, payment, 24% interest, give the 25%, 18%, 16%. Good is 16%, 13%, 25, 30%. Only give the interest. We don't care for the other thing. Just give it. I love you so much.
But
So
I love your money more.
So the question is that is the point. There's he who is a friend then, real friend, real teacher, real mom, real dad. That's why God is my mother, God is my father, God is my real friend. Tameva mata cha pita tameva bandhuscha shaka tameva vidya drabinam tameva. Thou art my mother, thou my father, thou my friend, thou my everything, all in all, O Lord of Lords. So instead, if he's a teacher, no teacher, he's not a teacher, he's teaching you bad things. He's not a friend who is taking you in a wrong direction. He's not a mother if she obstructs your spiritual journey. She's not a father. He's not a father who takes you off from God. So, now let us read today. Hey, go.
Should I call him?
No, go. Well, Maharaj, we have only half an hour time before tea. If you can manage to come. Okay. If we are to have attachment, let it be for the devotees of the Lord and not for 133. If we are to have attachment, যদি সাদ Bhagavat Priyeshuna Sango. If you want to live in the world and you want to love someone, you get attached to someone, get attached to the holy people. And holy people is who? That is the holy people who always talks about God, inspires you to go towards God. He himself enjoys God. When he speaks, he is expected to, is in ecstatic joy. That is the sign of a sadhu. That is the sign of a holy man in the world, in household life also. Who is a holy man, holy person? He is the holy person who talks about God and who finds delight in God. Who is, when you give that subject, he will be so happy. As you will be happy with giving some ice cream. So he will be happy with you are asking him something to talk. He gets boom, 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 boom. Go on talking about God. And he relishes it, enjoys it. So so you get attached to that people. What will happen? Your ear will hear always inspirational talks. Always hear what will lead you from this mundane world to a divine association. Your mind will be so much lifted. So these are the sadhus. No, holy man means householder. Does not mean that everyone who talks about God, he is a holy person. Make it a generalized formula. So we are eating, and after eating, my God, one after another stories of Maharaj, Brahmananda, Baburam Maharaj, Swami Sarvadevananda, this, that, how. So bombarded with continuous bomb, 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 bomb. You start one point and the machine goes on. That means how much one delights in God. You ask anything people may not like, you start the story of Trump and others, people get excited immediately. Because it's a wonderful topic.
Dow Jones.
Or anything which is a current thing and we are involved much into it. But who is excited in talking about God?
I have to tell you this funny story. I have this veterinarian because I have a cat, and so I buy her food at the veterinarian's place. And the veterinarian, his name is Ahmed, and he's like a Muslim in his background.
But he's a Muslim?
Hmm?
Cat?
No, the veterinarian. Dr. Ahmed.
God bless. There is no care. They do not know the class system. There is no Hindu, Muslim, man-made.
My cat's probably Hindu. She knows all the chants because I got him going all day.
Yeah.
But anyhow, he loves it when I come in there, and because he knows that I love God and all that stuff, and he just wants to talk and talk and talk. And the last time I was in there, we probably spent an hour each time in there when I'm just picking up some food for the cat. But he said to me that he goes to church or temple 7 days a week. He goes to the Muslim temple and to the Jewish temple and to the Christian church and to the Catholic church, and he likes all of them equally.
Good.
And that he had an interesting experience when he went to the Christian church, to the Catholic church one time, because everybody greeted him and they were so warm and they're just all huggy, and everything. And then he said later when they introduced himself, he says, "Oh, my name is Ahmed," and they're like, "What are you doing here?" You can't tell he's Muslim just by looking at him, but you hear his name and then and they're like, "What are you doing here?" He said, "It's all the same God, right? We all agree on that, so I'm here."
Yeah, wonderful.
So,
wonderful.
yeah.
See.
Anyhow, a little sidetrack there.
No, that's true. So if you have to have attachment, let it be for the devotees of the Lord, and not for the house, wife, children, and wealth. He who is self-centered, self-controlled, and is satisfied with the bare requirements for the sustenance of life, attains to realization quickly. So he who is self-controlled and is satisfied with the bare requirements for the sustenance of life. See, spiritual life is like that. They don't want to spend their energy in other things. It takes away some time, no? The bare necessity of life, small, simple food, simple whatever is needed for the health care, for your maintenance, they keep that much and give the rest of the time totally in meditation, prayer, reading books, bhajan, singing. That is called. So they are satisfied. They are not dissatisfied in the material world. They think that material world is not for my being exhausting there, but it is only for my survival of my body and mind to just be in the world. No? So the people may have huge building. Swami, I didn't think, hey, please come, welcome. Hey, say, Swami, we are reading this. You can just say a few words. No. We are all here. Just we are reading this verse, just to say who is the real friend.
You can, please go ahead.
I just finish it. So it says that if we have to have attachment, let it be for the devotees of the Lord attachment, and not for housewife, children, and wealth. He who is self-controlled and is satisfied with the bare requirements for the sustenance of life attains to realization quickly, but not those who are fond of sensuous indulgences. Point is that you earn money, good money, and have a big house and bigger house. You take longer time and it goes away in maintaining and looking after that. You don't get your personal time. But the devotees will try to have whatever minimum necessity. They will be satisfied and then they enjoy in devoting their time in God and holy association. So this chapter is holy association. Different verses from our book, our Madras book. Tapasana. Yeah. Actually, it is the translation by Tapasana, and that necklace of Bhakti Ratnavali collected by Vishnupur. So just you have that just to say what you are talking about.
This is last time I spoke about in San Diego. 2 days consecutively. One was Jnana, the difficult path which is the simplest, and Bhakti, the simple path which is the most difficult. So when you see, he talks about Bhakti, he talks about detachment, he talks about giving up attachment. We think we can do anything and get away with this and go to the Lord and the Lord will save you. That's the usual thing which we always believe in. See, go to the Lord and cry, oh Lord, save me. He will save you provided you are extremely sincere. Like in Girish Ghosh's case. But the Gita, 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, or those who have studied definitely, the Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, there is a series from 13 to 20. He talks about who is dear to the Lord. Bhaktiman me priyonara. You start from Adheshta, Sarvabhutana, Maitra Karunaya, Vacha, Nirmamo, Rahankara, Samadukha Sukha Kshami. If you read that, the characteristics of Bhakta, a devotee of God, which is described in the 12th chapter, and the characteristics of the Jnani, the Siddha Prajna described in the 2nd chapter, and the characteristics of a yogi, Trigunatita, described in the 14th chapter, are almost identical. That shows if the goal is the same, the path has to be the same. You have to go through detachment, you have to go through devotion to God, you have to go through spiritual sadhana. See, we think we can bypass many things and get there. And these incarnations of God are very intelligent people. Just to get people interested in God, they say, oh, it's very simple. Like if you read the Gospel of Ramakrishna, oh, it's a very simple path. Go and tell God, God will save you. Bhakti in Kali Yuga, Naradiya Bhakti is the easiest and the simplest. It's a way of enticing you into coming to God. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to do, it's very famous in Bengal, he used to say, oh, we come to God and chant His name. Magur Macheri Chol, Jubati Meyer Kol, Bol Hari Bol, he used to say. If you will get a wonderful fish soup, and you will have the lap of a young woman, and you chant the name of God. Young people get terribly attracted. Oh, this is the reward we get. The idea is when you become ecstatic about God's love and then start shedding tears in the presence of the Lord, Chaitanya's own spiritual influence. And those of you, I don't know, anybody has eaten, anybody has drunk the tears.
Your own tears.
Tears are slightly salted.
Salt.
So that is the fish soup. And the earth is supposed to be proverbially called a woman. So you roll on the ground in ecstasy. Mother Earth. You roll on the ground in ecstasy and you chant the name of God. So these people, Swami Brahmananda also, you will say, it is so easy. Call on God, just call on God a few times, you will see what change comes to you. So you get immediately attracted. So Ramakrishna said, cry to God with a real cry, just 3 days and 3 nights, and you get it. 30,000 lives you may cry, nothing will happen. Unless detachment comes to you. There is an interesting incident in Holy Mother's life. She was in Puri, in the eastern part of India, where the Puri Jagannath temple is there. The Ratha Yatra festival, the car festival, the 3 Rathas, the 3 cars are being drawn. One is the Jagannath and Subhadra and Balaram. So it's a huge festival drawing about...
you know that we have it in our Hare Krishna. Three carts go on. One is Jagannath, one is
a few 100,000 people attend these festivals. The power of the Lord is so much. So when Mother was there, there's a Sanskrit saying, Ratheshu Vamanam Drishtva Punarjanmana Vidyate. A person who has the darshan of the Lord in the Ratha, he escapes life and death. He gets released from bondage. So Mother, in a very simple, naive way, thought, oh, how many hundreds of thousands of people are going to be liberated. And suddenly, something spoke from within her, as it were, said, no, only those who will be rid of desires alone will be liberated. Nirvasana, she used to talk about Nirvasana. The idea is, what exactly, do you want God or no? If you want Him, you'll get Him. If you don't want Him, you'll not get Him. It's so simple as that. So what we say is, of course we want God, but we want to have a little of the world also. And our take is, I will surrender. I have surrendered myself to God totally, but just in case I have backup. I have a backup. In case the Lord fails, I know He will not fail. I believe in Him. But it's just like in the computer, see, you have a backup hard disk. And then you store some of the important files in the pen drive. So the difficulty is God will not allow a backup. Either you believe Him totally or you don't. There is one great Swami called Sat Swarupananda, who was a disciple of the Holy Mother, and he got sannyas from Raja Maharaj. And he was very intimately associated with many of the direct disciples. Once we asked him, he mentored me, and then his scoldings for 20 years made me what I am now. Severely they used to scold. See, now the present Swamis don't scold at all. Even Swami Prabhavananda, severely they used to scold people. Because if you want to shape people, you can't be namby-pamby. We think bhakti is an namby-pambyism, and then wishy-washy, shilly-shally, namby-pamby, you go on. And you become goody-goody bhaktas. Bhakti is
that idea of the backup is a good comment on the calculating mind.
Yeah.
You got one foot over here and one foot over here.
So Swami Sarvadevananda, we asked him, see, Ramakrishna speaks about longing for God. That's repeatedly he mentions this. You long for Him. He calls it Vyakulata in Bengali. It's a Sanskrit word. Vyakulata means you just pant and pine and long for Him, and you just can't live without Him. That's the idea. The Mahaprabhu's hymn which we chant every day, that tears will flow from my eyes and my throat is choked and my hair stand on end, etc. So we asked him once, to Satsvarupananda, why is it that we don't have longing for God? Then he gave a very wonderful answer. He said, longing is a very peculiar quality. Unless it is totally present, it appears to be totally absent. Every one of you, every one of us has some longing, otherwise you wouldn't be here. We have some attraction for God. Otherwise, why should we be sitting here and listening to the words of God? So every one of us has some attraction, some longing, some deep desire to achieve something spiritual, to live an elevated life. Everyone has it. But unless we have it in total measure, we always feel that we don't have it at all. Spiritual life, in a sense, is 0 or 1. You know, Boolean algebra? You know that. Boolean algebra is either you have 0 or you have 1. Either this or that. You can't have anything in between. Fuzzy logic says it could be 0.001, 0.002, or 0.1, 0.2, etc. You can slowly proceed. But there is a school of thought, particularly in Jnana path, either you have absolute dispassion for God, throw dispassion for the world, throw the world away and then come to God. Swami Vivekananda sometimes takes this very extreme position. He tells a story in the Inspired Talks, and we have heard Swami Madhavanandaji, by reading the Inspired Talks, he became a monk. The story is, there was a mother monkey who was extremely attached to its baby monkey. All the time she used to carry the monkey in the lab and feed it and so on. They performed an experiment. How much the mother monkey loves the baby. They put the mother monkey with the baby in its arms on a plate of steel or iron, and they heated the whole thing from below. So it was dancing, it was feeling terribly hot. Slowly it became red hot. When it became impossible, it simply put the baby monkey down and then stamped upon it and then stood on it. The baby monkey was slowly getting burnt. Looks terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what Vivekananda said? All of you will run away when you read the sentence. This is Jnana. Vivekananda said, the world is our baby monkey. Unless we can throw the baby monkey, the world upon her, and trample upon it, we can't come to God. It's a little too harsh, we believe, but that is the truth. You just have to throw everything away. But the difficulty is you can't throw it if you're attached to it. So the Bhakti school says, you can't now throw it away. All right, you slowly get attached to God. So Sri Ramakrishna says, rather than going the negative way, saying that I'll throw the world away, get more and more attracted to God. With the big magnet, and the world is a small magnet. The big magnet will attract you rather than the small one. But how do you get attracted to God? We normally say, let God attract me. I can't do anything. That's also a good way of putting the whole thing on God, provided you believe in Him. God will attract you, but the price you have to pay is very heavy. We want to cling to the small magnet and then to go to God. I'll have my little ambitions and little desires in the world, the cozy little world of comfort, and then I will also go to God. The problem is God just can't bear the word also. Either I am here or nobody else.
Jealous God.
In the Jewish tradition, they say, my God is a jealous God. Either He occupies your whole being or He'll have none of it. We say, I will also give you a place, but the world also will have a place. Even if we give a fairly large place, it's good enough. We give a very small place to God, as Swamiji said very funnily. God is like a doll which we put in the showcase. We have so many pictures, and then also put one picture of God there, and then put a few flowers, and then think you're worshipping. Even that is good enough. See, in the Hindu tradition as well as in any other traditions, God is so generous. He says, come, you have come to me anyway. So you have, unless you throw your baby monkey and trample upon it and say, I don't want anything. There are two ways in which He does it. Either He attracts you, but you are very much attached to the world. When He pulls you, that attraction goes away. But you don't want to leave it. So what He does is, He gives you terrible blows through people who you love most.
That's true.
That sometimes it's terrible to take. You love somebody so deeply and dearly, and that person betrays you, gives you a blow. Is this all this world? You know the story of the Chandi, the Devi Mahatmyam, the famous book called Durga Saptashati, which is one of the very important books in Tantra. The story is there are two people who are roaming about in the forest. One king was ousted by his enemy. He fought a war and lost, and the king was driven away from his own kingdom and was roaming in the forest. He met another businessman called a Vaishya, a business person, who was also roaming around. Then they fell to talking to each other. Both of them were deeply worried, upset. Then I said, "Who are you?" "I am a businessman." "Who are you?" "I am a king." "Why are you here, roaming in the forest?" "Oh, the enemy came and attacked me and then threw me out. So I lost my kingdom, I am roaming here." "So who are you?" "I am a businessman." "Why are you here?" "My own wife and children, for greed of wealth, because I was so wealthy, they took away my passbook and bank balance and credit card and threw me out. So they claim all the property themselves. So I have come here." So they went around and then saw an ashram, a hermitage, in which a rishi was living. They went and bowed down to the wise man, the great sage, and said, "Sir, we have a question to ask." The Vaishya said, "My wife and children hate me, they don't want me, they want only my money. They have thrown me out, but my attachment to them is not going away. I am sitting here and then I look at the clock. Oh, it is not 5 o'clock. My child must have come from school. How is he eaten properly? How is my wife? My wife hates me, but I can't help loving her. We cover it up with a kind of an unselfish love, but it's morbid attachment." Swamiji says in the Jnana Yoga, the mother loves the child. The child grows up, becomes a man, becomes a cheat and a scoundrel, becomes a demon and kicks her all the time. But the mother says, "Oh, my mother's love, I love my child." It is not the mother's love, but a morbid attachment.
Very harsh one.
It's a very harsh word, but this is what it is. Then the sage says, "Oh, it is not your fault. There is a principle called Mahamaya. Not Maya, Mahamaya. She is deluding you, me, everybody in this world. And because of the delusive power of Mahamaya, you are still attracted to those people who don't want you, who don't like you." "Oh, then is it so? Who is Mahamaya? How was he born? What are the various glories of Mahamaya?" Then I said, "I will tell you." Then the whole story begins. So the Maya, which is a delusive power, somehow puts a veil upon you, and then you know. Even though you know, you can't practice what you know. You know what you should do, but you can't practice it. You know what you should not do, but you can't help doing it. Duryodhana said, the famous quotation, "I know what is dharma, but I can't practice it. I know what is adharma, but I can't desist from doing it. You, Krishna, sit in my heart and make me do what you make me do." So there are two ways. The Vedanta way, the Jnana path says, conquer Maya. Go and conquer Maya if you are extraordinarily detached. What is detachment? And you have so much power to throw this world away, then you come and you say, "No, I don't care for all that is." But those who are not endowed that kind of detachment and the power power of vairagya, as they call it, they can go to God and then tell God and say, "See, this Maya is troubling me, please help me." We are all called Maya Adhina. That means under the sway of Maya. And the Bhagavan, Ishvara, is called Maya Adhisha. That means he is the Lord of Maya. He is not under the spell of Maya, but he controls Maya. Maya is in God, but is not affected by it. How is it possible? There is a story in Sri Ramakrishna's life. The disciples could not understand how this is possible. Maya is in God, but how is it he is not affected by it? There is smoke in this room, but I will not be affected by this. So it is not possible. Either I am out of smoke or I am in it. So Sri Ramakrishna smiled and said, you know what it is? Like, the snake has poison in its mouth, but every day it eats food, but it is not affected by it. But when it bites somebody else, that person is affected.
So Maya has taken us.
So the philosophical and the scientific principle behind this is, there's a big science behind this. Nobody is affected by his or her own dharma. Dharma means the intrinsic nature. This is the principle. Any doctors here? No, our doctor's gone away. This is the principle of what is the vaccine. You know what is the vaccine? Vaccine, you take the virus and then inject it in the body and create an antibody. So that the virus affects you again, you are not affected because you have it already. If something affects you, make it your own nature. You drink the poison so that poison doesn't affect you. In earlier days, in the mythologies, there used to be what called Naga Kanyas. Some women, very handsome women, seductive women, who from head to foot will be poisoned. The slow poison is injected into them, so that if they embrace somebody, that fellow will die. So it seems kings used to keep these women in order to conquer the enemy. These are stories. So the idea is, if you take the Maya and then make it your own, then Maya will not affect you. So Maya is called the Shakti of Ishvara. Paramesha Shakti, that is the statement by Shankara and the Viveka Chudamani. So it is the power of God. God is not affected. Just like, suppose you ask a question. Fire burns everything. Fire. Whatever you put, it burns. Why does not fire burn itself? Shankara raises the question in Mandika Upanishad Bhashya. And he says, fire can't burn itself because nothing can be affected by its own dharma.
Nothing can be affected
by its own dharma. Dahika Shakti, the power to burn, is not an external quality acquired by fire. It is the intrinsic quality, its own dharma. Fire and Dahika Shakti, fire and its burning property are just inseparable. And therefore fire, the Dahika Shakti, the burning property of fire, burns everything which is external to it, but cannot burn itself. So the Maya Dhisha, God, is not affected by Maya. So he can go to Maya Dhisha and then say, sir, please save me. Maya is troubling me too much. I can't bear this anymore. And then what Maya Dhisha tells you, he calls Maya, hey, don't trouble this fellow. He has taken refuge in me. That's one way you can escape Maya. It's called the Vedantic method. The Bhagavad Gita has a beautiful verse. Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mame Vaye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. This Maya is a terrible thing. You can't cross it so easily. But those who take refuge in me as the Lord, they will be able to cross over Maya. So the Vedantic method is go to God and ask Him to release you from the clutches of Maya. Maya being completely under the control of Maya, the Lord gives a command to Maya, don't disturb this boy, this girl. He is mine and he is taken refuge in me and you are released. But in Kali Yuga it's a risk. Particularly in India, the unions are very powerful. You can't complain about anybody to the higher authorities. Suppose you are into this, in a hospital and the nurses are taking care of you. Some nurses don't really attend you. When a doctor comes in around every fortnight, every 15 days, and they say, oh doctor, these nurses are not taking care of me so much, and the doctor calls them and fires them. The moment the doctor goes away, these people will say, now for 15 days you will be under me, let me see what you do. So it is very risky to complain to Maya Dhisha, Lord, about Maya. So in the Kali Yuga, Sri Ramakrishna has invented a method. In the Gospel he says, go to Maya herself. and praise her, sing hymns in praise of her, and add one Maha before her name. Say Mahamaya. Oh, Mother, you are Mahamaya, Mahashakti, Mahadevi, etc. in the Chandi. And then Maya is pleased. Oh, you call me Mahamaya? Mother, you are troubling me too much. You see, please release me. I can't bear this. So Mahamaya herself, if she is pleased, she will not trouble you. This is called the tantric method. The method of the tantra is not to go to Maya Dhisha to complain and remove this Maya, but go to Maya herself and then pray to her. And the idea is very interesting. The same power of Maya which puts you in bondage also has the capacity to release you if she is pleased. There is a remarkable verse in the Chandi, the Devi Mahatmyam. It says, it says, Jnanina amapichetam se Devi Bhagavati hisa balada krishya mohaya mahamaya prayachati. Even the minds of jnanis and wise people, people with discriminative faculty, Mahamaya simply can catch hold of them and put them into bondage and delusion. Then he says, Taya visrajyate vishwam jagadetat characharam saisha prasanna varadanranam bhavati muktaye. She is the person who is responsible for the origin of this universe, sustenance and the dissolution of this universe. And she is pleased, you get liberation. So the whole exercise in bhakti is to please the Lord, which means the Lord has two powers. One is the power of release and the power of putting you in bondage. This is a very peculiar idea, which is there in the Bible, which the theologians are unable to explain. In the Lord's Prayer, you may remember, he says, please don't put me into delusion. The theologians are totally confused. Theologians say, how is it that Lord will put you? Satan puts you in delusion. Satan is that wicked fellow who is responsible for all the difficulties which you face. How can the Lord put you into delusion? Prabhupada book on the Sarvadevananda Vedanta, he explained by saying this world of phenomena is the delusion which God has presented before you. He says, come on, I have all this, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, sound and speech and taste, enjoy through your senses. He has placed all this before you and you are completely deluded. The Lord is there smiling behind all this. So this is the delusion he has placed before you. The Lord has the power to put you into delusion and he likes to put you in delusion and play with you. So Ramakrishna has this idea in the gospel. He says he wants to play with you. He doesn't want to release you so easily. He gives the example, in India there's a game which people play. The granny, the old woman, the grandma, she sits there and plays with the children. And the game is, the children will be moving around. Anybody who will be able to touch the grandma, he is released. The Budi Chua. So the grandma doesn't want that everybody should touch her. That means the game cannot go on.
Everyone goes and comes and touches.
The Lord wants the game should go on. Let the game go on. I think there is a song. What does the game go on? So that the game of this world should go on, and Lord doesn't want that everybody should be liberated. So why it happens, you don't know, but that's how it happens. In the Inspired Talks, Vivekananda gives the analogy. In a kettle that is full of water, it's being continuously heated. The entire water evaporates as bubbles, one by one, bubble after bubble, bubble after bubble, till the entire water completely boils and goes away. Then he says, nature, ever new, brings fresh water into the kettle and starts anew. So we have this idea, cyclic idea of creation. Continuously goes on and on and on. We have a creator called the four-faced God called Brahma, and his total life, Chatur Yuga and then Mahayuga, so many calculations are there. 311.12 trillion years he lives. Brahma. And then that Brahma goes away and another Brahma comes in his place. So it goes on and on and on. And who is that Lord who is beyond time? Just to give you an idea of the infinity of God, that is beyond time, Several imageries and several poems, several short snapshots are given of the Lord. One such is in Kumarasambhava Kalidasa. Kalidasa says Shiva is meditating. He asked the question, on whom is he meditating? But everybody meditates on Shiva. On whom is Shiva meditating? He says he is meditating in his own glory. Atmanam Atmanam Avalokayantam.
Oh.
And you look closer, Shiva is wearing a huge garland. Closer and see, he is wearing a garland of Brahma Kapala, the skulls of Brahma. One Brahma lives for 311 trillion years. To get one skull of Brahma, you have to wait for nearly 311 trillion years. And then he is having this garland made of so many skulls of Brahma. How many skulls are there? Ananta Koti Brahma Kapala Mala. Ananta Koti is several trillion. He is having several trillion skulls of Brahma made into a garland. So how long he has been there? Just to give us an idea, suppose you say God is infinite, you will not understand. So like children, Brahma lives for so many years. There's one yuga, the Kali Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, etc. The 4 yugas, it adds up to so many billion years, and that multiplied by 1000, that is called one day of Brahma. I think it comes to about
4.32 billion.
402 billion years.
4.32 billion.
Yeah, 32 billion, 4.32 billion years is one Chatur Yuga.
No, one kalpa.
One Kalpa.
This
So,
is 1000 Chatur Yugas.
So 1000 Chatur Yugas is one Kalpa. One Kalpa is considered one day of Brahma. Similarly, one night of Brahma, that multiplied 360 days is 1 year of Brahma. And that multiplied 100 years is the total Ayu of Brahma. And
As we live 100 years, they also
as is
live
100 years. And interestingly, the present age in which we are, Brahma is just celebrated his 50th birthday recently. Brahma is now 51 years old. It's called Vaivasvata Manvantara. Vaivasvata Manvantara and Dvitiya Parartha. 50 years is one first Parartha, Prathama Parartha. Half life is over. Now Brahma has entered 50 plus. So when you do the Maha Sankalpa, the beautiful mantra, you locate yourself in space and in time. Who am I? I am now in Hollywood. So the latitude, longitude, they all calculate. And then in time, where am I? I am in Dvitiya Parartha, Brahma, Skalpa, 50 plus. The Manvantara, it is divided into 15 Manvantaras also. So now the Vaivasvata is the person who is handling our Manvantara. They are all the rulers of these Manvantaras. Dvitiya Pararthe, the Markandeya Purana says, Markandeya Purane, Vaivasvata Manvantare. And then this Manu, he will become the Manu, the Raja in the story. So the idea is just to give you the vastness of time. So like children, if you say this, so many billion years, and then this is the Brahma, that is multiplied by 360 years is Brahma's 1 year, that multiplied by 100 years, Brahma is living, and you get one skull of Brahma after this, 311 trillion years. And if you have a trillion skulls made of one mala, that Shiva is wearing, then you get some idea of the impossibility of even your imagination to find out the vastness and the infinitude of Shiva. How long Shiva has been living? That means he's living in infinite. He is limitless, he is beyond time. That is the idea.
So আমরা এই will
So
end
now,
Maharaj.
just I'll finish.
You finish it
Now,
and you go for tea.
Yeah. Now, you go to Mahamaya herself and then say, please release me from bondage. That power which is capable of holding you in bondage also has the power of releasing. So Ramakrishna gives a beautiful analogy. There's a magician who tied a knot. He challenged everybody, come on, untie this knot. People tried and tried, nobody can. Magician smiled and then just pulled a rope, whole thing was gone.
Right.
So the person who has tied it can also untie it. So go and surrender to Mahamaya, and by the power of Mahamaya, you will be released. So the whole secret in bhakti is to please the Lord.
Surrender. No?
So surrender through serving or go and cry to him. If you cry beyond a point, then he is tired, already give it. That's also one method. You irritate God to such an extent, he wants to get rid of you, already take it, go. Sri Ramakrishna has the story.
It's babies.
The child was crying, mother, give me some, give me £1, give me one dollar. But the mother is talking to her very dear friend. When you get on pressing, he said, just wait for a second, throw it and that you go. So go on crying so that he gets tired and then gets rid of you by giving a liberation. Or you, whatever may be the procedure. Just I will end with this incident. Durga Puja was being celebrated in Pillar for the first time. Holy Mother had come with all the retinue. And Raja Maharaj was there. And Mother saw, oh, everything is so wonderful. Whole thing is fit and fine, is spick and span. And we have come as if Durga is coming.
Mother, as you.
Mother, Durga Thakur and Shaiji. Then, when Babura Maharaj, Raja Maharaj heard this, they started dancing in joy and then embracing each other. Mother is pleased, mother is pleased, mother is pleased, finished. When you please Mahamaya, the whole thing is done. Then mother went and saw, and the brahmacharis were cutting vegetables. Usually women do it very efficiently. Men can't dress vegetables and cook. Ramani Ranjan was the name of one Swami Jagadananda. Later on he became a very great jnani and knower of scriptures in our order. And then mother said, oh, my children, these boys are dressing vegetables so well. Then Ramani with folded hands said, to please Mahamaya is our fundamental task, whether it be by dressing vegetables or by doing spiritual sadhana. So our task is somehow please the Lord by doing His service in whatever means. And whatever you are doing, think it is service of the Lord. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. You give him a flower. So he doesn't want anything from you, but he wants the heart devotion. And then I live for you, I do everything for you. Every one of my service is for the sake of the Lord. That Lord who is infinite, omnipotent and omnipresent, present everywhere, by whatever you are doing, try to serve Him. The bhakti is easy path in that sense. If you ask, what is to be done? Nothing new. Whatever you are doing, do it, but change the attitude to worshipping the Lord. 1846 Gita. Yatha pravrittir bhutanam ena sarvamidam tadam swakarmana tam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. Swakarma, by your own karma, whatever you are doing, continue to do it, but do it as an offering to the God. That if the Lord is pleased, you are done. Or you can catch hold of a man of God and try to please him. That's also another way. There's the holy company. Catch hold of a holy man, try to please him. Ashokanji says funnily, we may want the company of holy men. The trouble is whether the holy men want our company. Somehow or other, if you can catch hold of a holy man, try to please him, you are done. One incident I'll stop. Swami Nirvananandaji was a very beloved disciple of Swami Brahmanandaji. He came to
Here, they came here.
He used to serve Maharaj so well, so devotedly. So he prepared a chillum of tobacco. You know, Maharaj was very fond of Habul Babu, just to bring his mind down. It is recorded in Bhuvaneshwar. His mind always is soared in the highest realm. So he used to take walks just to bring his mind down. Even then the mind is
that
not
is the
coming
photograph.
down.
Go check it, that photo of Brahma.
You can see his mind, the mind is not in this world at all.
I used to smoke and fall down.
Then Nirvananji, if it is recorded, Nirvananji used to run behind him with a hubble bubble and then constantly keeping the fire warm. So that any time when his mind just comes down infinitesimally, suddenly it may be, and then it will catch it and the mind will come down. Otherwise again it will go up. The whole problem with these people is how to bring the mind down. Our problem is how to take the mind down. If you know this distinction, everything is clear. They were struggling to bring their mind down. Then once he prepared such a wonderful chillum of tobacco, Rajaman said, one more chillum like this, I give you Brahmagyana. So somehow pleased him and then said, shh.
They can give Brahmagyana by chillum.
And by glance, by a touch they can give. But somehow you have to please them. To please them is not very difficult, but when they will be pleased, you don't know.
Yeah.
So constantly be at them. So constantly keep holy company and somehow or other it will happen.
That is the holy company we do.
Purandara Dasa is a famous Kannada singer. He has a song. He says, "Oh Lord, I and you will have a covenant. We'll sign a contract." Agreed? Krishna will sign, I will sign. All these devotees will be witnesses. Clause 1A. If I constantly don't have holy company, the onus is upon me. Agree? You sign, I sign, devotees sign. 1B. If you do not constantly give me holy company, the onus is upon you. Sign. 2A. If my mind constantly doesn't dwell on you, then I am at fault. 2B. But if you do not make my mind constantly think of you, you are.
Wow.
It's a wonderful song. See how the devotees, innumerable ways they have sang about him and then talked about him, and then just the elevation, just playing with God, talking to him, and then ultimately something will happen. And the Lord also wants that you cry around for some time.
Thank you.
Oh,
Will this be?
I did not know.
Yeah. Next class will be, I will be off, and then will be on 14th
Right,
of
but
next month.
we're gonna,
But you have a
yeah,
but announcement.
if anybody wants